Cheerio, it's Ira Madison. Welcome back to Feedback, where the streets are singing, and I'm the streets. Today, we're talking about theater. That's why the streets are singing. The streets of London are singing. Actually, I was listening to Sweeney Todd on the way over here and singing it and speaking in a British accent at every cafe that I've been at. And I will not be doing that in this introduction today. It feels less fun when I'm surrounded by actual British people. It feels kind of offensive. Anyway, I love coming to London at least like once a year because I love seeing shows before they get to New York. And sometimes the shows don't even make it to New York. But Paddington, which I saw, is coming to New York next year. And I am excited to make it my complete personality, because that is kind of what I do whenever I see a new musical that I love. In high school, the first musical that I remember seeing was the touring production of Rent. I could not stop singing all of those songs. Did not know I was singing about drugs or AIDS, to be honest, which calls into question my media literacy in high school. Anyway, getting back to Broadway, my very first experience on Broadway when I moved to New York in 2007 was working at the Majestic Theater where Phantom of the Opera was playing. I was an usher. No, wait, I wasn't an usher. I think I just had Usha Vance in my brain. I worked concessions at Phantom of the Opera, and I saw that show every single night for a year while serving drinks to drunk people from New Jersey. I'm a big Phantom head, okay? I am not an Andrew Lloyd Webber defender, but I will defend Phantom of the Opera because I think it is one of the most beautiful scores I've ever heard. It's definitely one of my favorite musicals. And I'm really excited this episode to talk about theater with two people who love it as much as me. One is my very good friend, Juan Ramírez. He is a Venezuelan-American writer and critic focused on film, theater, and all forms of pop culture. And Soraya McDonald, also a culture critic, who in 2020 was a finalist for the Pulitzer Prize in criticism. So you can tell the streets that 4 episodes in, we already have Pulitzer Prize finalists on Feedback. In addition to the Tony Awards and the recently concluded New York theater season, we also discuss how the conversation around colorblind casting in theater has evolved. We'll discuss 2 big adaptations from this year, Wuthering Heights and Is God Is, that left very different impressions on us. And we will also share our love of Tennessee Williams while sharing some bourbon in the studio. There's a lot in here, so settle in. This is Feedback. Let's get into, I guess, the greatest theatrical fight since last year at the Tonys. Ragtime versus Cats. The streets have been talking about Ragtime versus Cats. Threads has been talking about Ragtime versus Cats. I'm a Threads user.
Mm-hmm.
What are your opinions on who should have won Best Revival? Soraya.
Oh, God, of course you're going to come to me first. Who should have won Best Revival? I mean, I honestly, it's kind of a draw for me. Like, I think either way, I would have been like, woohoo! I love what Jaylon Livingston, co-director of Cats the Jellicle Ball, and of course Queen Jean, and the company like did with the show. As much as I am not a fan of Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Oh, like period, or just that show?
Like his works in general, like just the Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Right.
Okay, well, I'm Phantom down.
Oh, really?
He has hits, but I think if we add them up, it's probably more like, no one's talking about like Ask Jeeves or whatever. Whatever them, you know what I mean? Like, anyway, sorry.
Right. No. I mean, okay, so no, because I will bust out, the music of the night. Maybe like individual songs, but like as a show, Lord Jesus.
That chandelier did move really fucking slow. Let's just say that. Like when I first saw it, I was like ready because I'd seen the movie first in high school, and then I get to Broadway. I'm living here. I get to see Phantom every night if I so choose.
Right.
I was like, I could run to the bathroom in the time it takes for that chandelier to hit. I would really wish I had seen that Vegas production of it where it was like boom.
Oh, that's so
But,
funny. The
yeah.
first time I ever saw it was like during childhood.
Mhm.
I grew up in North Carolina.
Uh-huh.
So I saw like a regional theater production in Raleigh that my mother took me to. And I had like no clue. Like, I didn't know anything about the show.
Mhm.
When the chandelier came down, I screamed and started looking for the exit because I was like, something is happening. Like, we aren't safe, right? And then nobody else is moving. And so I'm just sitting there and, you know, in the dark with all these adults who are like, who brought the child to the thing?
No, Cats is still Cats. You
Cats
know,
is
it's
still
not
Cats,
it's not
right?
it's not a great show.
But then the other thing is that, like, I will fully admit that, like, Ragtime is, like, imprinted on me. Also from childhood. And
Yes.
also because, like, PBS was also, like, this huge entree for me to theater because I grew up in a small Air Force town in North Carolina. And so seeing Audra McDonald and Brian Stokes Mitchell, like, I fell in love with Ragtime. And also I adore Terrence McNally. I miss him
Oh,
so
same.
much.
Yeah. Now you won.
I don't like Terrence McNally. And I hate Ragtime.
Homophobic.
I hate
Homophobic
Ragtime.
for
Look,
one.
I liked the documentary. I liked watching it and finding out that he was like Edward Albee's like protege lover situation. Loved it.
Yeah.
He wrote a lot of plays, by the way.
I had never seen Ragtime. It's like so many of my friends and so many people's favorite thing. My first like real engagement with it was the City Center production. And I remember everyone around me was sobbing, and I was seething.
I was gagging
in hatred.
I was so sad.
I was seething in hatred. And I know that had I discovered it earlier, I might have loved it. But it just reminded me of like moving to the US when I was 9. And
Where did you move from?
Venezuela.
Okay.
But and every textbook in elementary school made it seem like, and then MLK came along and racism was solved. And I was like, wow, cool.
Oh no.
And it just had that sort of like Clinton era optimism that I'm just like, ugh, like I cannot in good conscience like sit here and take this. Whatever. I went back to see it on Broadway. I felt it was much better. Like, obviously people don't get together and think, well, we'll give all the performers the Tonys and then the conceptual revival to Cats, which I feel like is what should have happened. I don't know. I mean, look, people like Ragtime, like I guess I'm glad that a show that's become sort of like a legitimate runaway success is being awarded. But I mean, just like what J-Long and Bill Rausch did with that material, like I also don't really care for Cats, but it's such a good case of finding something where there's just like a skeleton, de-meating it and then putting just like feathers and everything.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I don't think Ragtime has
like Cats beats out what Lair did with.
There's this question
with
of Ragtime too about how it's such an important musical right now for our time. Everyone keeps saying that. I said it when I hosted a Ragtime panel because I was paid. Even though I really do enjoy Ragtime. Like I saw it at City Center. I went to see it on Broadway at Lincoln Center. Seeing it at Lincoln Center just felt so emotional. Like that theater is gorgeous. I mean, America's theater at this point.
Right. No, and I remember at intermission, I went to the bartender and I was like, so do the windows shake when Joshua Henry sings? Or what's going on around here? And he was like, yeah, we can hear it without any like, amplification.
I met Percival Everett. He was at my showing of it.
I didn't know Percival was out like that.
I know.
What is
Tony
it?
voter.
Well, maybe
I guess he's a Tony voter, maybe? But the whole conversation about Ragtime is just so weird to me. Oh.
Yeah. Hi, King.
Hello. Oh. It's for you.
It's for me?
Yes.
Lord Jesus. Hello?
Hi, Soraya. So I recently saw the revival of Death of a Salesman. That won the revival Tony. And it's absolutely stunning. But I was thinking about the Wendell Pierce version that was on Broadway a few years ago. And then that made me think about, there was this famous speech that...
Is this B.A. Parker?
Falls to the ground on the stand, where he denounces colorblind casting as an insult to black artists.
Yep.
And then when I saw the version of Death of a Salesman this time, I was like, oh, this is such an inherently white play.
White show.
Entitlement and sadness to it that reached very white family.
Yep.
And given like the current state of Black theater on Broadway, unless it is ironically an August Wilson play or
God.
like a Brandon Jacob Jenkins play, you look at
Purpose.
something like Proof with Ira Debris and Don Cheadle, and I guess my question for Soraya is colorblind casting hurting Black artists on Broadway right now?
Ooh. I love it. Oh my God.
We're doing
Last
stunts.
time and I ate like a whole song with like a whole thing. This is a more complicated question than I would like it to be. For a couple reasons. Because normally, like I remember when that I think 2018 production of Death of a Salesman with Wendell Pierce and Sharon D. Clarke was on Broadway, and I wasn't particularly impressed with it. It wasn't a good fit, you know, like that play just sort of hung on them in a very strange, untailored way, if that makes any sense.
Do you think that was racial or just the production? Because I also wasn't impressed, but I don't know that I would point to
It was
that.
no, I don't think it was necessarily. Well, yes and no. Like when I was considering it, or at least the way I wrote about it was, there was sort of a spate of plays on Broadway that were kind of speaking to like the masculinity crisis at the time, which there's a revival of that discourse too. But specifically, I think it was kind of speaking to, because of who was cast, this sort of like Black masculinity manosphere sort of issues. I think the other plays that I ended up sort of talking about it, kind of being in conversation with that season, were there was a revival of Susan Laurie Parks of Top Dog, Underdog. And of course I'm forgetting what the third one was, but that's all right.
Was it American Buffalo?
It was an August Wilson play. It was The Piano Lesson.
Oh, yeah.
But I remember like quoting August in that essay because I don't think that production necessarily served them well. And it kind of felt like they were sort of shoehorning racism into Willie's experience of his life, you know, at work. But then the other thing was that like everything just became sort of more pathetic. I don't think it worked well.
I get that. Because when you think about, you think about just like the journey of Black people in this country, right? And you think about when Death of a Salesman is set. I would compare that play to Fences.
Right.
You know, and Troy in Fences, you know, is he has expectations, but then he also places his disappointment onto his son because of what he's experienced, right?
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
Willie Loman has these expectations of an American dream and getting ahead because he is a white man in America,
He's a
right?
little delusional.
And it maybe is a little pathetic if you have a Black man expecting this shit in the 50s.
Right, because that was the thing that bothered me, is that there was no way for, I think, Wendell to sort of wear that naivete well.
The question becomes for me, with colorblind casting, because I wrote about this recently for Frank, my newsletter, about the Antigone that happened at the Public. Antigone, this play I read in high school. This becomes sort of like a creator versus actor dilemma when you're talking about colorblind casting, because I referenced Sidney Poitier in 1965 in the Times saying, "I'd hate for my gift or whatever to be circumscribed by color. I'd like to explore King Lear, for instance. I don't want to be just an Othello or always linked to A Raisin in the Sun." You have Black actors who want to play these roles. As Viola Davis said in, I believe it was Talk Easy with Sam Fragosco, like, you know, Black actors have to learn these roles in school more so than white actors have to learn August Wilson, you know? And so they're hungry for these roles, but then...
And they're good, and they're interesting roles.
They're good.
Like,
they're great roles.
If you have the opportunity to play, like, King Lear.
But then we sit down and watch it, and I'm like, what is this, honey?
Right.
Because it doesn't feel real to me.
Which comes back to the direction.
Yeah.
Like, you have to have a vision.
Yeah.
Because I think there are instances when it does work, but I don't think that's colorblind casting. I think that's more there's a consciousness in the way that the performances are being directed and the characters are being used. If you think of something like Daniel Fish's Oklahoma, which I think works with Rebecca and Naomi Jones, which I think works fabulously.
I thought
that was really
great.
interestingly racially cast, and I feel like that wasn't an aspect of that production people were talking about.
It was great because the first time I saw Oklahoma was in high school, and it was I'm from Milwaukee, and the only black person in the cast played Judd.
Oh no! Oh, poor Jen.
And I bet they were
terrifying.
Great. But no, because I think it was only Rebecca and then
Jen.
the policeman, right, who sort of is like quietly watching this happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's so interesting too how marketing plays into this. Which I mean, I think marketing is like sort of the first thing that falls off historically when we think about these productions. But I remember, I don't know if it was you or BA, but like talking about this latest production of Proof. Again, I obviously cannot speak to like what a black experience of watching this revival is, but I don't really see a change in that revival. I mean, I feel like an actor brings something to it, and an audience member brings something to it, but it reminds me, like, I feel like they really try to play up, like, and now we're seeing Proof and how this story happens to black people, and I'm like, I don't really know that this play is about that. And it reminded me of this sort of when they did The Light in the Piazza with not an Asian cast, but like an Asian leading family at City Center. And they really try to hype up the fact that it was Light in the Piazza reimagined for the Asian American experience. And I mean, this is kind of the thing that drove me off of Twitter because the discourse around it was insufferable. But I remember I saw it and I absolutely loved it. Thank you for bringing the goddess who is Anna Zavels into us and Ruthie and Miles. But I remember seeing it and I was like, this production's amazing. Let's be clear, this is not a different show. And the discourse around that was so horrible. And you look at something like what happened with maybe Happy Ending, which is a show that like doesn't inherently have anything Asian or Korean in it outside from two characters who are sort of, and even they could be people, expats living in Korea. But what happens when you market a show so intensely to a demographic is that they especially when it's so underserved, is that, these connections are made. And once that connection's pulled out, it becomes this giant betrayal. You obviously want to reach new audiences. You want to get them in through the casting, through the marketing, through all these things. But that's a really tricky thing that I think we're discovering. It's a double-edged sword because you don't also want to lean so hard into identity one way or another, because then it becomes this thing that no one really wants. No one,
you can't live up to
work
it.
can live up to. No work can really talk.
And you might turn people off.
Yeah,
between that. Like, you're gonna find that friction between like authenticity and capitalism,
right?
And, like, you have to have something like real at the center of it, or otherwise people just know that you're selling them,
right?
But the reason I say that this is even more complicated now, and we'll see where this goes, is that Ed Bloom, who is the man who was, and the money, the billionaire who was behind, what is it, the Students for Fair Choice or Students for Fair Admissions lawsuit or whatever that basically took down affirmative action, is now like funding a lawsuit.
That's him?
A discrimination lawsuit against Wicked.
Oh,
and he did Playwrights Horizons a few months ago too.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
This
and it's
dude.
specifically about, like, there's a part that was written that specified that the actor either be female or non-binary or whatever, right? And they're like suing, and it's a discrimination case. And of course, this is crazy because, like, you should very easily, I think, be able to win this and beat this back on First Amendment grounds as casting being an artistic decision. Now, it would be different if they were just like, no white men can be part of the crew, or some other part of the show that has like nothing to do with race, right? Where race is part of the
Wizard's a cracker.
Well, there you go.
I think
also that, but like but the whole thing, right? This whole lawsuit is also trolling.
No, it is.
No,
way,
I think
right?
I think it's even
Like,
stupider
we
as I
know.
understand it.
Can this person even act? Is it the same person?
I don't know if there's two things happening at Wicked, but the one I know is even stupider, unfortunately, as I understand it. It's like Wicked partnered with this organization who like deals exclusively with, I think, like non-binary people and women, and they partnered with Wicked to do sort of like a 2-week orchestra replacement gig, just like a 2-week step in and do this, and then he is suing Wicked and the company because he's a cis man and he can't do this
The
like
company
2-week
singers,
gig.
by the way.
Like it's so and again, yeah, for context, like this man sued Playwrights Horizon, an off-Broadway theater who you know, if there's anybody who can't be taking lawsuits at this point is an off-Broadway theater. Because they had blackout nights.
A blackout night
for Nazareth Hassan's Practice, which is a fabulous show, which again does not need their fucking name smeared with things like this.
Right.
Yeah, and they sued because they couldn't access
And they're saying
the
it's
ticket code for that
discriminatory.
one.
But that goes back to
Which of
marketing
course
again, right?
it's not,
Because
because
you
like it
want-
doesn't.
It's like
Black
gag
audiences
you can
to
show
see it.
up.
They settled out of court.
Yeah.
I guess
You
is the
can
best
come.
case in that.
There were plenty of white people at the blackout nights at slave play.
Less than.
Really?
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I would know. I wasn't there.
I mean, how else are they going to find a slave to play with?
Oh,
That was better than being on Hinge for some of them people. It is this question, though, of, and it comes up in movies a lot, like white shows, black shows, and it is, I think we're reaching this point where you just sort of want projects that were written by white people, especially historically, to be for white people, like for Ragtime, right?
Sure.
But Ragtime was, when it was written, first of all, E.L. Doctorow's Ragtime, like his Coal House was based on Michael Coal House, like a novel about a German man who does what Coal House does in the play. And that doesn't make sense in the time of Ragtime for a black man to be doing that, because then they would have murdered all those black people in Harlem.
Right.
You know, like there would have been a Tulsa massacre. You're really telling it through this white lens. And I think that we're getting to this space where I'm like, let white people tell white stories, let black people tell black stories. Whenever we see a black story on Broadway, it's always through like a white lens, like Ragtime, you know?
I'm forgetting the name of this Native American actor, but he did a movie a few years ago, and he was doing an interview, and an interviewer asked him, you know, like, what's your experience as like a you know, First Nations person in Hollywood? And he said the main difference was that when I started in the 70s, we wanted liberation, and now it's all about equality. Why the fuck would I want to be equal to a white person? I think that really speaks to like where culture was, where, you know, I think in the 90s when August Wilson says that, there were more all black creative projects popping up. And
But in terms of like the ones that get produced, particularly for commercial
maybe not Broadway, but I think of like
then it's like
certainly not Broadway,
vanishing,
but like
right?
the black, you know, like there's a lot of TV shows, there's a lot more like investment in the culture, I think, separate from like the one sort of homogenized mainstream. And I think if we were back there, and if we were in this place where like, yes, Lena Dunham can do her all white shows as she should, a black writer can do their all black shows as they should, everyone doing their thing at the same time together for all to enjoy is different than now when we're all sort of cramming everyone together, like, you know.
I think I would like to be more specific, because there are a lot of playwrights who are white who write plays who aren't necessarily writing about whiteness, or at least like not conscientiously writing about whiteness, even though like is a play about whiteness.
Yeah.
I don't want us to like turn away from like integration and also the sort of artistic collaboration.
Yeah. It's just hard as an audience member too, because the problem I had with Antigone was that you had Haman being played by a black actor, and the play completely ignored race, right? But it was set in this world where you're talking about feminism and you're talking about capitalism, you're talking about everything but race. And so it was very weird to me, just the black person running around.
You're like,
doing
hello,
nothing.
why are we? Yeah, I think if you're going to do it, it has to be considered. Like it's part of the equation like anything else. And I think like the adjustments that you make as a playwright for an actor, when you know what the casting is, like that's one of the things that goes into consideration. And I think my frustration is that like I want everybody to be smarter. I'm like, if I had to read all this stuff and learn all this stuff about white people and be able to like talk about it cogently, like I'm not special. Like there's no reason why like y'all can't learn about it. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to I don't want to further encourage that sort of laziness.
Sure.
Because it's not that it's impossible. Like, you can do it.
I think just another thing I want to say, like, as it pertains to theater, at least commercial theater, American capitalism rears its ugly head again, because I think a huge consideration here is that everything on Broadway and in US theater means so much because it's so scarce. Whereas in the UK, if you don't like The Death of a Salesman, wait 2 years, there will be another one with a different cast. It's such a sort of like giant repertory feeling of like things don't cost that much. A hit production could last 2 months, and
The
if it
stakes
does
are
well,
just
they'll bring
not-
it back in a year in Sheffield, whatever that is, or they'll do it off West End or
Ain't you
whatever.
from the nanny?
You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
But it's like, for us, it's so like, who is going to play Norma Desmond? I swear to God, if it's not blah, blah, blah. Whereas over there, it's like, okay, cool. We have Sunset this year. Next year, it's that one, blah, blah, blah. Like, it matters less.
Capitalism, too, has been on my mind just because.
I can't wait for this segue.
No, listen, you know that I saw The Maids just the other night at St. Anne's Warehouse, and this adaptation of Jean Genet's play took what was the central conflict of the play in 1965, and it became this story about how influencers sort of like just destroy our reality and how can like warp your brain and everything. And it's just making me think of the recent spate of shows that sort of like for modern audiences, right, appealing to new audiences. Like sometimes it works, but this like there's only one mentality creeps into film as well, because how many people got livid about Wuthering Heights, whereas you can log on to Netflix, Criterion, Amazon, anywhere and watch many of the other productions of Wuthering Heights. Also, it's in the public domain, so you can make a Wuthering Heights if you'd like.
None of them like adapt the entire book because
it's a long ass book.
It's a long ass book. It gets too confusing. Everybody's names get jumbled together. Like there are a bunch of reasons like why the adaptations of Wuthering Heights like are cut the way they are, like the stories that these directors decide to focus on. But the other thing, I mean, like I'm not offended by Emerald Fennell's vibe cinema.
Sure.
She makes vibe cinema. It's fun.
She does.
You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't necessarily have a whole lot to say, but it's fun.
And
like,
edible, some K. You were having a good time with an Emerald movie.
I mean, look,
like if you were going to Saltburn and expecting to be like, turn me into a Marxist, like
no, exactly. And I think
can we just have fun, like looking at this man like humping a grave and like dancing around naked? Like, can that be enough?
Yeah, I mean, I think Wuthering is a way tougher thing to defend. I can't remember the last time I was in a movie theater literally going. My friends and I were like,
oh, it really has nothing to say.
It had to end.
I mean,
it felt longer than a book.
Feels so much longer
but
than
I
it
agree
actually
with you in the
is.
sense that, again, I think this woman's movies are unfairly held up to the status because most people, it's like this might be the one non-Marvel movie they're seeing all year. So all of a sudden they're coming out of Saltburn being like, this should win an Oscar, or well, this didn't really elucidate Marx's ideas. And I'm like, oh my God, it's like a little horny, like whatever, like let's have fun. I had fun at Saltburn. It was one of those things where like I saw a preview screening and I was like, that was so fun.
I was listening to Murder on the Dance Floor for like a month after that.
And then it came out 2 weeks later and it was,
what it did for Sophie Ellis Bextor, what it did for Sophie Ellis Bextor, like thank you, Emerald Fennell, for that.
Material difference.
Go.
Yes.
Exactly.
And meanwhile, you have Kane Parsons in theaters right now. Backrooms is nothing but vibes. So why does it allowed for one person and not for the other?
And it truly is like we have created, well, not we, but like this sort of this concentration of power and people who actually can greenlight things and like have them made has gotten smaller and smaller. The stakes get so high, right? Because what you were saying about just the West End and the cycle of production there that's so much quicker, you can just move on from something. Part of what I think we're talking about is the sort of rapid, just utter deterioration we've seen of our own regional theater ecosystem that artistic directors, and company managers have been talking about for years, and which really fell off a cliff with COVID and has not sort of like come back in the same way.
Illiteracy.
And this is not
it's
just
not just theater, because
right?
when you talk about stakes, right? The stakes exist for Black film. It's always,
Mhm.
if y'all don't go see this, we're not going to get another one.
Right, we're not going to make any
And
more.
Speaking of adaptations, you interviewed Alicia Harris about her directorial debut, Is God Is, and that's a film that not a lot of people went to see,
Mhm.
but as an adaptation, I actually never saw the original play. How do you think the adaptation, how do you think its strengths were, and what do you think it says about play to film adaptations and how they can work?
Mhm. I really loved it because I think, and the reason it works is because Alicia immersed herself as much as she could sort of in the language and ways of cinema as she would throw herself into the language and ways of the stage. Like she respects both of those mediums and the strengths and what you can do with them, as opposed to trying to fit a play like into a movie. She dove into this as a film. And that was before, like, she didn't know when she was writing the screenplay that she was going to be directing. I was so encouraged because Alicia makes such strong choices in the way that she decides to direct this stylistically.
Of course, I hate to be reductive and compare it to Tarantino.
No, but absolutely.
But the way that
cannot,
Tarantino
you cannot
is
help
just
but think of
this
that, right?
amalgamation of like genres and references. Like there were so many in this. It was spaghetti western.
Yep.
It was a revenge thriller. It was Southern Gothic. It was so much fun.
I mean, I never saw the play, and the film has so many great things to talk about. But what I think one of them, specifically as a film, is that I watched that film and I was like, how was this ever a play? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, this does not feel like
Mhm.
something that could have done. But even with a $1,000 billion budget, I could have
No,
not.
but that's the thing. It's not $1 billion budget, right?
Right.
Like it's weird. Like,
And pour one out for Soho Rep's home. Thank you, playwrights. I can mention for bringing them in. But
I mean, you want to re-up?
I would love, but
Yes,
no. I
please.
mean, yeah. Anyway, back to you. But
right,
that
but
is
like Soho
yeah.
Rep has this wonderful reputation for just doing like weird shit that you're like, wait, how can this work? Especially in the old space, because it was so tiny. That becomes, instead of an impediment, a challenge to, like, how can we communicate these ideas in ways that are really interesting, that are going to draw the audience in? Because I think that's the other thing that especially infects commercial theater, right? Is like, you have to have a bunch of money in order to make a show that people are going to want to see, which isn't necessarily true. Like, the thing that makes theater so wonderful is that you have all these different people who are basically they're engineering different things, right?
Right.
You are solving problems, right? Like, the fact that you have sort of budgetary constraints, and the way that Off-Broadway and Off-Broadway forces you to figure out like what to do with those, so that when people come into that room to see it, that they still believe the story, that they're still drawn in, that they're still interested, which is what, right? Like, I mean, that is what makes it an actor's medium. Is
And
that
it's great
that
when
is
it's new work,
your
too.
responsibility, right? Yes.
Yeah. Because Juan and I have seen so many. This is like a running joke for us that we love Tennessee Williams, and
Hell
we've
yeah!
yet to see a good.
Hence the bourbon.
We've yet to see a good revival of a Tennessee Williams play in years. I feel like
Right.
in years.
I don't
Even Paul
understand.
Mescal at BAM was like, I was enjoying parts of it,
Why?
but then I was like, this, like, did Martha Graham direct this?
I mean, listen, Rebecca Frecknell is the biggest threat to American institutions since 9/11. Woo! When she did to that play, oh wow, we're gonna beat drums and have every 2-person scene have them, round each other out like it's a cage match. Huh.
Right. And then let's not even bring up Theater for a New Audience, which
Anyway,
is
let's not.
because it's I don't know what new audience. I've never seen anyone
Fall asleep
younger than
harder.
me in those shows, for one. So who's the new audience? And the things they've done to Tennessee Williams should be
You know what I
think?
think? You know what I think it is with Tennessee, and also a lot of the
This is also writing for whiteness, by the way, but like
and
Southern
straightness.
whiteness.
But
I was
let
about
me
to say-
let me
okay,
put up let
'cause-
me put in straightness. Let me put in straightness.
Not enough Southerners.
Yes.
But
Wake
continue.
that up. also straightness. Because here's my thing. I read Ibsen, and I'm like, oh, wow, Ibsen was a gaggy queen. These plays are all about, like, the maid is eavesdropping, and then she has syphilis. You know, it's like, it's so that. But you see these productions that are so boring and respectful, and they make it about, like, a woman's place in society. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's about a woman trying to, like, fight the other one. You know what I mean? Like, or so-and-so. And it's like, Tennessee was a drunk Southern faggot. Like, come on. These plays are gaggy.
God bless her.
Ibsen is not, like, I don't know what he was trying to do, but, like, Enemy of the People, I thought that was so boring. Lean into the mess. Lean into the drama. Lean into, like, we're all drunk. Lean into, like, you know what I mean?
To understand Tennessee, you have to understand that, one, he was writing for women because he couldn't be successful writing about gay men. Also, he had all these hang-ups about being gay anyway, so he wasn't going to be writing about gay men. But it's all there, like, Suddenly Last Summer, you know? It's about
Okay.
this.
I mean, but we are like Elia Kazan, Anna Magnani. Like, what are we doing?
Italian. That's like kind of spiritually Southern.
Yeah.
But that's interesting because I feel like American theater is not going to touch the South now unless it's in like they voted for Trump. Let's do an ethnographic study.
And can we not? I mean, there's so much more interesting about this. Like,
and it's also less investigative.
Speaking of like integrated companies, right? Because like give a Black queen or like a Desi queen from the South, like, a chance to just like really fuck shit up with Tennessee Williams.
Right, because that actually works for Black productions,
who knows
to be honest.
What's what?
Oh, a Desi like, Maggie the Cat.
Tennessee.
Ooh. I would be there so fast.
Well, post-mortem on this season, what have you enjoyed that you like has gagged you, that you would recommend that people still go see if it's running right now? And like, what are you maybe looking forward to coming up?
Okay, Fallen Angels I really loved, especially because I'm watching this and I'm thinking in my little, like, you know, part-time marketing job way, they could have so leaned into, like, these are women standing in their horny power, blah, and it's like, shush! Let me think about that later and be like, huh, wow, they were just sort of being horny and empowered.
Right.
But, like, but they weren't leaning into that because that's not what the plate is, and that's not what we're going to laugh at. Exactly. You know what I mean? I adored that. And some people were like, it's a slight play. And I'm like, it's a comedy.
It's
like,
a comedy. We are still allowed to have those.
Oh God, it's still running.
Stop obeying in advance.
This might come out after it's closed, but I think I thought Jerome by John Caswell Jr. was spectacular at Playwrights Horizons. Yeah. I've just generally never seen like an old gay couple portrayed like this, and like they're loving, they're horny. It's about them taking in a third. Yeah. They live in I forget where, like I think
Jerome, Arizona.
Yes. Did you see it? Or did you know that
did.
town? Okay, it's a ghost town apparently. I've never seen like that age of gay couple that's not just sort of like AIDS, you know, like that is part of the thing.
It's either AIDS or we see a play about a gay couple and it's usually
they get hate crimes or something.
It's usually very like marriage equality adjacent. I want to pivot then to the mother of all New York City productions, I guess. And when you're talking about adaptations and appealing to newer audiences, Shakespeare in the Park is in full swing this year, including a new staging of Romeo and Juliet in Central Park that's set on the U.S.-Mexico border. Juan, you recently talked to the two stars of the production when you wrote about the play for Vogue. So what stood out to you about this take on the Shakespeare classic, and what do we think about what Oscar Eustis is doing?
Yeah. So look, I mean, this is Sahim Ali's, who is the I want to say artistic director of the Public. I should know this. I've bugged him so many times. I think it was a little too high concept for the edits that he made, but look, Sahim is a genius. Something that hit me last year when I was watching. They reopened the Delacorte Theater after a renovation with Twelfth Night with both Nyong'os. A wealth of Nyong'os.
That was so fucking good.
Yes.
But Oscar Eustis was introducing Sahim actually, and he said something to the effect of like, well, last night we opened Fat Ham at the Old Globe, and then we flew back today to open this, which I guess makes Sahim like the de facto, this like Kenyan gay man, like the de facto Shakespearean interpreter. And I was like, wow, true, yeah. Anyway, was this Romeo completely successful? I don't think so. I also have to think of the fact that Shakespeare in the Park is free and meant to like bring new people into theater. So it's like when us snobs go into it, it's like, well, Mercutio wouldn't say that. It's like, well, you know what? Like some kid is seeing this for the first time ever.
And people line up for this too. I mean, the way that we say
absolutely.
that reading is back, it was actually so beautiful to go see 12th Night last year. I hadn't been to Shakespeare in the Park in years, actually. I hadn't been since I last seen 12th Night with Anne Hathaway.
Oh, wow.
But
and Audra and Rose.
yeah, to go and see it,
iconic
it's
photo
like
shoot.
to see the people lined up. It's just like it was nice to see New Yorkers want to see theater.
And if you're gonna do like Babies for Shakespeare, like 12th Night is.
I think the two stars of this, Ramia Akins and Daniel Bravo Hernandez, are incredible. Daniel especially, he was in the last Broadway Romeo and Juliet. LaShawne's is in it. She looks gorgeous. She comes out in like a little like nightie. The wind was blowing, the silk was blowing on her, and I was like, LaShawne's, you were too beautiful.
There you go.
Everyone go see this. The U.S. border thing, I think it was interesting. I think Shakespeare, to compare Shakespeare to Angela Rivers' Cats, it's like we all or some of us know these stories so well that even if a concept isn't completely coherently applied, it's interesting to think about. You know, and I think Sammy made a really interesting choice in that it's not like, well, Romeo is Mexican on that side, Juliet's white on this side, whatever. It's about, it's more about like colorism. It's more about like the fights that are having within a community where Romeo is Mexican American, Juliet is mixed race Black and white American. It's interesting,
which is interesting,
and just being at the Delagore is such a like a gorgeous experience every single time. Like it is such a great experience every single time.
I mean, shout out to the raccoon.
Shout out to the raccoon. Shout out to the foxes, the wolves, like the pigeons shitting on the actors. Like it's so great.
Yeah, I think Sahim does better with comedy.
Sure.
But again, like I have so much respect. Like he's just, and he's so consistent. I am interested in like what the vision for like the future public is.
Yeah,
like
who's the audience for the
post
public?
Oscar Eustace public. And no shade to Oscar Eustace, right? Because he has done tremendous work in his tenure. But I also feel like I feel a hand in the works there that are still clinging to the magic and success of Hamilton.
Yeah.
And it's like I understand like how you can be like, this work, like let's keep going back to that well. Where, you know, if you're a critic like me, like you're frustrated because you're like, that was wonderful, but that doesn't mean like make everything Hamilton. Like, please don't do that. Please.
Right.
Like I can hear it in the chords. I can
Hamilton was such a phenomenon too. And I feel like every theater company, off-Broadway or Broadway production, you're looking for a hit. You want to make a Hamilton. You want to make something that is a cultural phenomenon.
And also gives you some security.
Yeah,
Again, we're back to the precarity and the stakes and everything else in the way that colors what we see, what gets produced. And this goes back to sort of the decline of the successful, like healthy regional theater ecosystem where you have places where people can take chances, where they can do weird things, where they can work those things out, right? And do it in multiple places as opposed to like a theater that is named after David Geffen.
And I'll say this to the public, I mean, good or bad, but I think they are the theater that is most committed to producing plays from like a completely diverse pool of people.
Yeah.
I say good and bad because it's like, it's good that like I really don't think I get press releases from any other theater company saying we're doing 1, 2, 3 Asian American plays this season. That's amazing. Like there really is a home for like every diversity. On the bad side, sometimes I get the press release that's like, hey, do you want to write about this play that's about a gay Latino who kills himself? And I'm like, oh God, no. You know?
Yeah, there's this self-seriousness.
You know what I mean? It's like,
right,
no, I'm sorry.
That's Girl Interrupted, by the way.
Like I think that, right, like,
yes.
take it to that next step. Like, just give us
it's
Give us
very
some more ridiculous stuff,
yeah.
right?
It's very like theme focused. It's very identity focused right now at the public.
And back to the thing I was saying about marketing, it's like, yes, look, I am the guy to come to if you want to write a play about the kid who kills himself. But like, but I really don't want to be like only seeing that. But I mean, before that, I mean, like,
Oh.
Hello?
It's Scott.
Oh, this is for you.
Hey, Wanchi. Okay, it's your friend Chris Murphy. And after Pink's somewhat complete surprise slay at the Tonys, I want to know your most out-of-left-field, out-of-the-box choice for who would make an amazing Tonys host next year, and who should be banned for life from ever hosting the Tonys, ever. All right, love you. Bye.
Our good friend Chris Murphy from Vanity Fair.
Why do you get the easy question?
That was hard! I don't think Pink was a surprise slay. I think, when she was announced, people said, like, Pink, huh, what? Like, and yeah, look, sure, she's not been on Broadway yet. But this is a
It's
woman.
coming now.
This is a woman who has released
Come
videos, right? I think it was like a CBS Sunday Morning thing. Everyone look this up. She is literally like leg pressing the hostess while singing her song, not missing a beat. She sounds amazing. She has the stamina. I mean, talk about like people who step into Broadway and they're like, and then, have to leave.
She's absolutely in shape for
She's
it.
in shape. She sounded amazing. That was not, she should come back and do it again next year.
She's
honestly.
Barnum,
Like,
she's Bailey, she's
Oh,
the
yeah.
Flying Walendas. She's like, come on.
Right. I think she should come back. I don't really have any thoughts on who should be banned from hosting the Tonys, but I like duos. I think hosting gigs are the place to have reunions. Instead of let's get, the Romeo and Michelle sequel because whatever, let's just have Lisa Kudrow and
Mira Sorvino.
Thank you.
Hello.
Host something. It's just opportunity for fun. It's opportunity for something to just look at the TV and smile. I honestly think, Neil Patrick Harris unfortunately did like magic at this last one, but I think he's a really charismatic person, as is Hugh Jackman.
He was funny in his cameo.
You should have like Whitney White and Carrie Young.
Hello.
For example, like they have a great rapport.
They do.
Actually, no, my friend asked me at the Tonys, like, can Carrie Young sing? And I said no, and she would be too powerful if she could. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You'd be
I
like
thought she was a singer. Remember when I thought Pearly Victorious was a musical?
I took Ira to go see Pearly Victorious, and then half an hour in, he's like, when did they start singing?
I was like, where the songs?
Have Melba Moore host the Tonys. Yeah.
I feel like, I would
Melba
like
Moore
to
and
see-
Stephanie Mills, bring them back. Just do like a 70s Black Broadway renaissance on the Tonys hosting.
I think Missy Elliott would be a good
Oh.
Tony's host.
But have her not see any of the shows.
Exactly.
Let's get Missy's music on Broadway.
Also that.
So speaking of the
be
public,
a good jukebox musical.
Yeah, right, because the public is where Hell's Kitchen started.
And it doesn't need to be biographical.
Right.
Please no.
And Alison Stoner can dance.
I actually love the biographical jukebox musical. Like, give me something else. Who is right for a jukebox musical? Because I feel like every jukebox musical that sort of exists right now is like, I don't want to go see Neil Diamond.
You know what? Missy Elliott, we don't know her story.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that, coming up, a black woman in rap and hip hop and R&B was
In Hampton
a
Roads,
time.
Virginia.
Yeah.
So I would love to learn more about that.
Missy, we keep talking about this Madonna movie. Like, where's the Madonna
Oh my
stage
God.
show?
Ooh.
It would have to be like when
You could do
the
different
thing
eras.
of focusing
You
on a
could.
scene though, or on a part. you know?
The Danceteria era.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Like 80s Madonna in
Hello.
New York.
That's
all
a show.
we need. I think too many of these jukebox musicals too, they try to shoehorn a lot of songs in because they want to,
and it has to be
make
an
a lot of
era,
money.
and then no, pick.
First two Madonna albums, let's go.
Let's do it. We're doing. There's so much '80s stuff just like in the air anyway. That would be fantastic.
All the millennial stuff is sort of like a mess to me because it's sort of like here's like Moulin Rouge, for instance. Here's all these damn songs. Well, first of all, I want to see the songs from the movie.
Right.
And two, I kind of liked Anne Juliet.
Sure.
Yeah, because you know what? It is not.
It's stupid.
It doesn't take itself seriously at all.
There you go.
all. And it's a chance to like. Listen, I love Britney Spears, but it's like she's not like that kind of singer. So it is great to see someone open the show with like "Baby One More Time," and it's like
That was fun.
whoa,
I mean, that's how I felt about Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah.
Another show from the public. I mean, we also don't have concept musicals because I'm thinking now about like I Will Defend Jagged Little Pill, the musical. I think that was really interesting. But I'm thinking now of like the Who's Tommy. You know, we don't have to go writing like because sometimes I think like Melodrama, the Lord album, could be a good show because that album is explicitly structured as like, what if you're at a house party that you want to leave because you're heartbroken? That I think would be really cool.
Well, I'd be remiss too if I had you two here and I did not also discuss opera.
Okay, are you an opera
Oh boy.
Well, so you, Soraya recently wrote about opera legend Denyce Graves, and how her
I saw
career
that. I
is
have to read it. I tabbed
pivoting
it.
as she moved to directing, mentoring, and producing.
Mm.
Just what do you think about the state of opera now? Because everybody was
Child.
talking about opera after Timothée Chalamet made his opera comments, and then it sort of died down. Are people going to the opera? Are the streets talking about opera?
I think it's one of the last and not to at all stand for like propriety, but it is one of the last places, the Met, the ballet, whatever, that you like that is sort of an occasion, and
Yes.
everyone knows to be quiet.
Absolutely.
Everyone knows to be quiet. Everyone knows like we're gonna do
It's
this thing.
special, right?
It is special, and I don't need theater to be that, you know, whatever. But like, it also, more importantly for me, I am more or less guaranteed beautiful sounds and beautiful images. And I can sort of tune out. If it's a 4-hour opera, I can just sort of like the pretty colors and the pretty
Yeah.
sounds. And I'm getting fucking voices. I recently interviewed Joshua Henry, who just won a Tony for Ragtime, king of all time. And I asked him about his like process, whatever. Then he flipped it on me, which I always hate when interview does that, but whatever. And he was like, "Well, what do you care more about, a storyteller or a good singer?" And I was like, honestly, right now, a singer.
Really?
Like, and I started to
That's
bring
when
up.
they can't answer a question
I
on the
started to
fly.
bring up the Whitney Houston quote of like, "I rarely listen to people who can't sing." And he stopped me and he was like, "Juan, I know the exact quote you're going to talk about, and that's how I feel." And that is kind of how I feel too.
You mean like in relation to opera or just in general?
anything,
Oh,
like
yeah.
a singer. You know what I mean? Like we have so many like healthy humish conservatory, like blah blah blah.
We do.
And you go to the opera and it's like, wow, these people are unmiked.
Yes.
Like Denyce Graves is unmiked. Nadine Sierra is unmiked, Florida Queen.
Yeah.
I love singing. You know that is ultimately why we're going to these things.
Right.
I
Do you know how devastated I was
do.
when Maria was bad?
Oh no.
Because you know Angelina Jolie is my queen.
Yeah. It was mid. I wouldn't say it was bad.
It didn't really convince me to be like an opera fan. Opera is sort of one of my last bastions that I need to get
Totally.
into.
I mean, yeah, it's one of the things that like, and again, the singing, like, it is the thing that causes you to have a visceral reaction when someone hits that note. You know, it's like, okay, yeah, I really could not get that anywhere else.
That was I've been spoiled by Denyce, right?
Yeah.
What
Like
was
she
her last
was
show?
the Carmen.
Carmen.
Her retirement show like happened the
It was
day
Porgy and Bess.
It was Porgy and Bess.
Yes.
The last show was the day that Alex Preddy was murdered.
Oh.
Like it was a whole
Yeah. But I'm excited for Treemonisha because this is Scott Joplin's 1911
yes.
opera, and the intention in 1911 was to Scott Joplin was
It was
a
very
ragtime
much
composer
supposed to be.
loop it back to ragtime. It was, you know, he wanted to create a black opera sound.
Yeah.
And I think that is so fascinating. And
Yeah.
I'm just excited too for what the story is. Cause I think, you know, if
It
I
is
have any
okay. The
critiques-
story is a little anemic.
Okay.
Like this is my thing with librettos generally because I'm the person who complains about librettos. Because I want both. I want the writing and the singing. Like I want them together.
I think the Met, by the way, if they want to get butts in the seat, like do Carmen a hip opera.
Ooh.
Let's put that on the stage.
Beyonce will
okay?
sue so fast.
We'll have her
I don't know
involved. Let her and Jay produce it. Okay, so last question for both of you. I want a show for both of you that you would like to see revived,
Okay.
and a show that you never want to see within the 5 boroughs ever again. It needs to be permanently banned from being revived ever again. And that could be because it's so horrible. That could be because we've seen the best version of it, etc.
I don't need to see another production of Oliver. And part of that is because the rules around producing it are so stringent, like the estate, right? Like you can't update it. You can't really make changes. Like they're like, no, you
I
gotta
saw
do
that
it.
at City Center and was like, you need to cut several songs from this.
Right.
Honestly, I want to see Is God Is move to Broadway, frankly.
Off-Broadway to movie to Broadway.
Hello.
Yeah.
Why not?
Wake that up. Juan.
I might have the same answer for both questions.
But you're not allowed
to. Sorry, the answer I will, not yours. I think the answer I will give is both something I would really need to see and something I also don't need to see because I'm scared. As you know, Ira, Legally Blonde is one of my favorite musicals.
Yes.
I am terrified of what contemporary hands would do to that show. It is gloriously 2007.
Are you excited for Elle on Amazon?
No. Anyway,
we're gonna treat that the way we treat the Carrie Diaries.
The Carrie Diaries, but that was kind of cute.
Well, I love the
had,
Carrie Diaries,
Sophia
though.
Robb, right?
I was Carrie Diaries down, okay?
But okay, listen to the thing. I remember I was once at a theater thing, and the song "They're Right There," Gay or European, came on, and all these gay guys around me were like, "Ooh, yikes! This song is so problematic." And I'm like, "Is it? Are Europeans people we punch down at? Are gay people? Or is anyone legitimately mad at the song "Gay or European"? Right?" And look, there are certain
Meanwhile,
things...
that is a legitimate question at Basement.
Right, his shoes are pointy-toed. Does he like techno, or is he just European? You know,
right? You need to update it, but you are always running into a European man in the club, and it's just like, no, I just like being around music.
Right. So I don't know. If we get a revival, I would like to be brought on as creative consultant.
I'm shocked you did not mention Sweet Charity because you were always talking about.
Oh well, listen. Here's my thing. Jasmine Amy Rogers, when you want to do Sweet Charity, I don't have producing money, but I could help you. I can help somebody. $5 for Sweet Charity.
I would love to see Sinners the Musical. I will delete the internet when it happens because I don't want to see the discourse. Soraya, Juan, thank you so much for being here.
This
was
was
so much
such
fun.
a pleasure.